So what if you could only use 5 functions to write formulas in Excel? Which ones would you choose? Well, it's not an easy decision, but in this video, I'm going to share 5 functions that can do the work of 41 other functions. So this will be a great opportunity to learn some versatile functions that will save you time with your everyday Excel tasks. So let's go. So my criteria for this challenge is that I want functions that can perform common everyday data analysis tasks. And I've divided this into 5 categories to help solve problems in a wide variety of scenarios. So the first thing I want is a lookup function. And we might be thinking, well, XLOOKUP is a great option here. I'll just quickly write an XLOOKUP to look up this value in this customer name list over here, and then I want to return the contact name and phone number. So XLOOKUP is going to do all that work for me and return this contact name and phone number. But there's actually a function that I like better here, and that's the filter function. So same thing here, I'm going to type equals filter, and with filter, the array argument is going to be the values we want to return. So we'll select those, comma, the include argument, we're going to say when our customer name here in that column is equal to this customer name, hit enter, and that's going to return all the matches. So Sunset Surf Shop actually appears in this list multiple times, as we can see here. XLOOKUP is only going to return the first match, which is this one right here, but the filter function filters down the list to give us all the matches. So this makes filter a bit more versatile than XLOOKUP. And we also need a logical function. So in this example, we have some sales data over here. We want to look up the sales amount in this bonus table over here. And if it's between any of these tiers, then we're going to return this bonus number. So for this, we could use XLOOKUP or if or ifs, but we can also use filter. So here I'm going to type my filter function again. Our array is going to be this bonus column here. Hit F4 to make that absolute. For our include argument, we're going to have 2 criteria. The first is when the sales amount is greater than or equal to the minimum sales column here. Can F4, close that parentheses, multiplication, open parentheses, and then when the sales amount is less than or equal to the max sales column, again, F4 there, close parentheses on my include argument, close parentheses on filter, and hit enter, and that's going to return the bonus amount. And here filter is just returning one single value because this sales amount is always going to be between one of these minimum and maximum sales tiers. And in the filter function here, the multiplication is doing AND logic. So it's doing a test to see if the sales amount is greater than or equal to a value in this column and less than or equal to a value in this column. I have a separate video that explains more about these logical tests with the filter function, and I'll link that up in the description below. And for those that are wondering, I am using Excel tables, but I have table formulas turned off just to make it easier for viewers that aren't familiar with structured references yet. So jumping over to the function list sheet, the first section we're looking at is these lookup and logical functions. And really, filter does a lot of work here. So I'm going to keep filter, and I'm going to cut all these other functions because filter can do the work of most of them. It's by no means a complete replacement, but still a very powerful and versatile function. Next, we need a statistical function to do calculations like sum, average, count, and so on. Now, if you've used Excel tables, you'll notice down here in the total row that Excel tables use the subtotal function. And this is a pretty versatile function because it has a function number argument here. And if you hit Alt down arrow, you can see a list of all of the different calculations that it can do. And there is a newer version of this called aggregate. So if we type it here, aggregate, we'll tab into that. This also allows us to calculate a lot of different functions here. So in this case, I'll type a 1 for the average, comma, and we also have options here for what we want to ignore. So we can ignore other nested subtotal or aggregate functions, any errors, hidden rows. At the very least, we want to ignore the hidden rows. So I'm going to put a 5 in here, and this will act similar to subtotal. Type a comma, and then we'll select this column here for the array, hit enter, and that's going to give us our average. And what it means to ignore hidden rows, if we filter this down, so let's say we filter this for accessories only, that's going to recalculate and give us the average for just the accessories. Subtotal does the same thing to give us just the sum for these visible rows only. And the reason you'd want to ignore other aggregate and subtotal functions is for a report like this. Here I'm using the aggregate function to do a sum for all of these subtotal rows. And then down here at the bottom, I can use the aggregate function again, where my function number is going to be 9 for a sum. I'm going to say 0 to ignore subtotal and aggregate functions. And then I can just select all of these cells here, including these subtotal rows. Aggregate's going to ignore those subtotal rows and just sum the detail rows to give us the correct total. So jumping back to my function list for the statistical section here, I'm going to cut all of these functions and just keep aggregate. Of course, it's going to be overkill if I just need to do a simple sum or count, but aggregate is another powerful and versatile function. Next, I want a reporting function. So I need some way to create some reports and do analysis on my data. For this, I'm going to use the pivot by function. So pivot by allows us to essentially create a summary report or a pivot table with a formula. So here I'm going to select the category column for the row fields, comma, for the column fields, I'm going to put the store across the top, comma, the values will just be the quantity, comma, and then for the function, we have a list of function options here as well, just like aggregate. We're going to say sum for this one. We just type sum in, close parentheses, and hit enter, and that's going to create this report on the sheet in this spill range that gives us a sum for each of these combinations. And to create the report, it also creates a list of unique values here from the columns in our data set. So we could also create this report with something like the unique function and a sum ifs, but that's two functions, and pivot by can do the work of both of those functions. And jumping over to the functions list, for these reporting functions, I've decided to cut all of these functions and just keep pivot by. Now, this wasn't an easy decision. I also could have kept unique and used that in a combination with aggregate and filter to kind of create the same type of summary reports, but pivot by does have nice features for total rows and sorting, and it will just make life easier. Now, if you want to make life even easier, I highly recommend using pivot tables, and I have a separate training on that. I'll link it up in the description below. Next, we're going to look at a solution for formatting. So here I have a column of dates, and let's say I want to return the month number or the year. Now, of course, in Excel, we could use something like the month function. However, to keep this more versatile, I'm going to use the text function. So for text, the value is going to be the date, and then we'll type a comma, and here we can specify a number format. So if I just specify an M in quotation marks, that's going to give us the month number. And you can use just about any number format with the text function. So here are other examples of calculating the month name, the weekday name, the day of the month, and the year. And I have all of the number formats that are used in each of these columns in this row above. Another great use for text is formatting numbers. So here I'm using this special number format to format the sales value in millions. And this is useful if you have a dashboard or a scorecard. So I'm going to insert a text box, do it right here. And with the text box selected, we're going to go up to the Formula tab, type equals, and then select the cell that contains the formatted value and hit enter. And this is all linked. So if this value changes here, let's say it's 4 million instead, that's going to change the result of the formula and also the result in the text box. And then here we can just select one of our formatted ones, hit the Format Painter, and we'll apply that here, and everything looks good. So on the function list, for formatting, I'm going to cut these functions and keep the text function. This one might not give us as much bang for our buck here in terms of the functions that it replaces, but it can be nice for reporting if we want to do things like grouping by month or year. And I'm curious to know if there's another function you'd use in place of text in your list. Let me know down in the comments. And finally, we'll take a look at data cleanup tasks. So in this example, I have this column of full names, and I want to extract just the first name. Now, there are a lot of different ways to do this in Excel. I'm going to use a relatively new function that's probably less common, which is regex extract. This is going to allow us to extract text from another text string. So our text string is going to be the full name, so we'll select that. For the pattern, I'm going to paste in the pattern here. And this weird sequence of characters is regex code. And what it's doing in this case is finding the first space in this value and then returning the text before the space. Now you might be wondering, how am I going to learn all this? And the good news is you don't have to. In just a second, I'll explain how to get this code and an easy way to do that. But I'll go ahead and hit enter here, and you can see that we now have the first name returned. And in this table, I have a lot of other examples of how you can use regex extract. I also have a row up here with all of the regex codes. So this one returns the last name. Here I'm extracting the company name from this email address. If we scroll over here, I also am extracting, or actually trimming, the blank space off the end of this value here. And in this one, I'm extracting the zip code to just find essentially a 5-digit number within all of this text over here. And an easy way to get these regex codes is to use AI. Here I'm using Copilot, but you can use any AI model and just describe your data and what you're trying to do, and then it will provide the regex code. So jumping back to our function list, when it comes to data cleanup, we can use regex extract to replace a lot of different functions in Excel. It can do the work of functions like text before, text after, text split, and even trim, making it a pretty versatile function. And then I did have a few functions that made my honorable mentions category with Copilot and Python. However, they won't be accessible to everyone, and they do require an internet connection, so that's why they didn't make my top 5. So I'm curious to know which 5 functions you would choose, because I think this will differ for everyone depending on how you're using Excel. So leave a comment below and let us know. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button and consider subscribing. And if you want to learn other ways to save time with Excel, then check out this video next. Thanks again for watching, have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.